Hey everybody, this is Kevin of Kevin Page Art and Pages Pages. So thank you for joining me for another session. Today we're not going to do a finished drawing. Today we're actually going to work on some exercises. So what I'd like for everybody to do is follow along with me, and I'll show you things that I use daily on all my artwork. Things that I use to create something like this that's over my shoulder, or something like this, which are finished pieces of work that I work on, but all the techniques that I use, you'll be able to use the rest of your life. So have fun with it, try it out, and I'll talk you through it. So enjoy and let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Okay, everybody. What we're going to work on is a series of exercises, like I said in the intro. But there's several things that I use on a daily basis that I'd like to always try to keep in mind when I'm creating artwork. So one of the first things we're going to do is work on lines. So something you could do on a scratch sheet of paper or anything that you like to do with any drawing material, so a marker, a pen, a pencil, whatever you'd like, is work on a series of lines. So starting from point A to point B is draw a straight line as closely as you can between them. Do that again, and then do it again, and again, and again. So you want to be repetitive. See what you could do about making these distances the same distance between each one. It's something that you'll have to work on over and over again. Try not to be wavy. Try not to be loose. Try not to push down too hard. Try not to push down too lightly. So what I want to work on is having a solid line from A to B over and over and over and over again. So that's what we're going to work on with lines. So do that in the margins of your paper, anything that you like. Just continue to fill these up and just work on line after line after line. Next thing we're going to work on is curves. So very similar to lines, what we're going to work on is going from a point A to a point B with our curves, but you want to arc with it. So a little half moon or a half circle. So again, A to B, up and over. Again, not too hard, not too soft. Repeat it over and over again. And you can see that these are starting to push together. But I want you just always just curve after curve. Try going the other way. I have a hard time going that way. I have an easier time going this way because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, maybe it's easier for you to go the other way. But just draw curve after curve after curve. So the next process we're going to do is circles. So there's two kind of ways to go about circles from what I could do. Is one, it's very, very hard to draw a completely perfect circle. I don't know personally anybody that can do it, but trying to find it is going to be what you want to do. So again, not too hard, not too soft. Draw a circle, and then another circle a little bit smaller, another circle a little bit smaller, and so on. The way that applies is if you do a large circle, then try to keep that same shape of that circle with a smaller circle inside. Now try the other way. Do a small circle with a larger circle on the outside, and then a larger circle on the outside. So all those circles can be built up over and over again. So always try to just draw circles as close to perfect as you can, but you can see this one is heavy here and light here. So you'll never get to perfect, but you'll always practice. Next lesson. Want to work on hatch marks. So with the lines and the curves that we did before, you could do line after line after line. Now go the opposite direction, same thing. Line after line after line. You'll use this a lot of times when you're shading, especially if you're doing a comic book or anime style drawing. The closer you are, the denser the lines get. So the darker it appears. So if I do a wide open pattern of my hatch marks, it does not have the same effect as if I do highly, tightly packed lines. So we'll learn that later in the future, but learn keeping your lines parallel to each other this way and parallel this way. So work with each other to make sure that everything works together to give you a grid. This is again just exercises, but things you could continue to work on. Along with circles before, we're going to do spirals. So a spiral is easily just starting at one point and spiraling out, or starting at the other point and spiraling in. So this is outwards. So the same lesson we learned from circles before. And then if you go inwards, so that was outward, starting in the center and coming out. If we're going to do the other, you start big and go small. So something that you'll learn is I like to go this way, other people like to go the other way. But what this will teach you is your spacing and your timing and your muscle repeating of going around in a circle. Again, they're not perfect. These are just exercises. So you could play in the margins of your notebook paper of doing a spiral. One thing to always keep in mind is how hard are you pushing down on the paper? Are you going very hard and leaving a deep, dense space? Or are you going too light where there's nothing there? So we want to, there's no real way, no real right way of doing it, but I do want you to practice that nice touch of the same pressure on the paper to give you the same density of line. You don't want it too fat, you don't want it too skinny. You want it kind of right in the middle. So the last thing that we'll work on is filling in, and I'm going to change colors on this so you can see. This is going to go back to our hatching like we had talked about before. But what a lot of people want to do when they color in something is I'll draw a shape and then I want to fill it in. And what a lot of people do is this. And what I call that is W's, because people are doing this over and over again. And you see what the W does. This is a bigger version of this. The W gives you a big gap in there. You're leaving very heavy spots on some areas and very light spots on the other. So whenever I fill in something, when I'm doing a finished piece of artwork, I never go up and down like that because you could see the gaps and the heavy spots. What I try to do, and it takes a lot of practice, is to start at one point and draw down, and then draw down right next to it, and then again. So instead of going up and down, I'm doing down, 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 down. So now when I have this gap in here, like you could see, I could go in and fill it in and it looks way cleaner. Just so much cleaner when I could do that. You could practice going both directions. So up and down, left to right, or right to left. But practice picking your utensil up, your marker, your colored pencil, your whatever it is that you're using, and try not to do this. Try to go stroke after stroke after stroke after stroke. So if you do all those things, you can create so much more. The spirals, the lines, the hatch marks, everything that we've been working on, you can always apply that future-wise going forward, and it'll help you create and be more creative. So thank you guys for joining me. Again, tune into Pages, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Thanks.